body normally don't allow too many bacteria to grow in the small intestine. But that thing changes in this pathologic disorder called small bowel bacterial overgrowth. Body normally don't likes that bacteria stray and colonize and grow in the small intestine, because then what would happen, the normal absorption process, which primarily happens in the small intestine, usually in the proximal part of the small intestine, they would get disrupted, and these bacteria can steal the nutrient even before they're absorbed. So body don't want that. So that's why normally small intestine is not the place where bacteria are allowed to grow. But in certain diseases where there is a impairment in the gut motility, like diabetes mellitus, scleroderma, or there is an anatomic abnormality in the gut due to surgery or due to some diverticulosis or diverticulum formation, what could happen, this bacteria, or due to some drug effect, what could happen, that bacteria which are normally not allowed to grow in the small intestine, they start to overgrow. And that results in this SBBO, that is the small bowel bacterial overgrowth syndrome. These bacteria start to ferment all these foods, creating gases like methane, and all these gases causes fermentation, bloating. That will also result in osmotic diarrhea. And as these bacteria can damage the intestinal wall, small intestinal wall, the absorption also gets altered. So that also results in the malabsorption. So that's why these diseases, they typically present with three things. One is diarrhea, chronic diarrhea, that is malabsorption. Another is there is also bloating sensation. Now the question is that how normally body prevent or allow or don't allow the bacteria to overgrow in the small intestine. There are certain mechanisms that there. Like number one mechanism is this, that the transit time in the small intestine is very less. Bacteria don't get much time to stay there and colonize in the small intestine compared to the large intestine. And secondly, in the small intestine, what is happening, that you also get pancreatic enzymes are coming, which has antibactericidal property. In the small intestine, particularly in the ileum, there is a Peyer's patch, which is a part of important part of the body's immune system, which can release this antibodies like IgA. So those things, plus immediately before the small intestine, the stomach is releasing a lot of acid, which is creating a hostile environment for the bacteria to grow and come into the small intestine. So body has multiple mechanisms which don't allow these bacteria to grow in the small intestine. But that thing gets altered in the SBBO. Why? As I mentioned, because now you can connect the dots. If your motility becomes sluggish, your peristalsis becomes sluggish, so your rapid transit time, which normally happens in the small intestine, also becomes sluggish. Secondly, as I mentioned, that if there is a certain drugs like proton pump inhibitors, which can cause achlorhydria, so acids would not be there in the previous gateway, that is the stomach, to destroy those bacteria much. Plus, if there is any anatomical abnormality, those bacteria get a hideout place to grow there, hide there, and overgrow there. So all these diseases can result in the SBBO, that is the small bowel bacterial overgrowth syndrome. And as I mentioned, the key problem would be that the bacteria, all those foods which are coming to the small intestine, the bacteria would attack them and ferment them, causing production of a lot of gases, causing osmotic diarrhea, bloating sensation, and also they can damage the wall due to the infection and inflammation. And that would also result the impairment in the absorption. Moreover, they can even steal the nutrients before it gets absorbed by the human beings. Those bacteria would steal them actually. So all this thing would result in those three key features. That is the malnutrition, the bloating, and the diarrhea. So this is, in the second part actually I would continue with the other features of this SBBO. Thank you so much.